guy, Matt Goodwin, who's the very worst of our politics, the very worst of it. And I think it's bringing people from all around Manchester and the region. People have been getting in touch with me. How can we help? How can we stop this?
I guess the biggest one for us in Greater Manchester is with Andy Burnham going for that position. It's kind of sent a message to certain people that that's the job he really wants. So how can the people of Greater Manchester kind of trust him now that he's kind of doing the second job that he wants?
Well, look, I think we'll all agree, wouldn't we, that Andy Burnham is and has been a fantastic mayor of Greater Manchester. He's brought about so much needed change to this city with the buses, with the trams, with the transport network, skills, more social housing. He's really delivering for residents of Greater Manchester. And look, I know it was a really difficult choice he was making and things that he was having to consider and what he wants to do and continue to do, and what he was seeking to do was to stand up for the politics that we're all about here in Manchester, which is we're a tolerant, we're an open, we're a progressive, we're a welcoming city, and he wants to make sure that those are the politics that prevail across Greater Manchester. And he was worried about this by-election and letting reform in, as I am, and that they were the things that he was thinking about. But look, he's got many years to go now as being mayor of Greater Manchester, and actually I think there's many people who've said to me, they're really pleased he's going to be carrying on doing that.
There's also the other side of the spectrum, isn't there, of the people who kind of were hoping that he would be granted permission to run, who've now been disappointed and now feel a bit like that was a choice that might play into Reform's hands.
Look, it's a decision that has been made, and I know there's a lot of people that are disappointed about that. I think my own views are kind of well known on that issue, but it's a decision that has now been made, and we've got a by-election in 4 weeks tomorrow, I think it is. It's not that long a time. People in this area, they really want an MP, a local MP that's going to stand up for them and really represent them in Parliament and across the city. I'm really confident that there is a majority of people in this area who want to reject the politics of reform, and that's why we're just sending a really clear message today that it's Labour who can stop reform in this seat, but it's also Labour who can provide that strong local voice here in Manchester and across the country, and that's what we're going to be trying to do.
And one of the candidates tipped to be running is Andy Burnham, I think it's here today. What can you kind of say to reassure people that the Labour-run council in Bury isn't going to be neglected if he's running here miles away, but putting all his energies to campaigning?
Well, look, we've got two great candidates on our shortlist. They'll going to be actively, I'm sure, already trying to get local members to support them in a hustings on Saturday. But both the candidates on the shortlist, they're both Mancunians, they're both of our area, they both understand the politics that we're about here, which is welcoming, it is tolerant, it is open, it is progressive, it is about delivering change. They know that people in this area want change, and we're all coming together as one Labour family about how can we defeat this politics of hate and division best, who's best placed to do that, how can we do that, and everybody from across the region is going to be helping with that, and that applies to Eamon and to Angeliki as well.
But where does that kind of leave Bury if he is kind of here?
Well, look, let's see what happens. They've just literally made the shortlist last night, and I think what it shows you though is that everybody from across our region, Labour people, progressive people across our region are worried about what's going to happen in this by-election. It's a really important big by-election. We've seen that Reform have now selected this guy, Matt Goodwin, who's the very worst of our politics, the very worst of it. And I think it's bringing people from all around Manchester and the region. People have been getting in touch with me. How can we help? How can we stop this? And that's as true for Eamon as it is anybody else.
And in regards to the campaign, in this particular area, or particularly in Denton as well, there is, a lot of people were just quite royally pissed off about the Trigon Timbers issue.
Absolutely.
How are you going to regain trust?
Yeah, look, that was a really bad episode. It was a long time ago. People thought they were talking in private, but there's no excuse for some of the things that were said on that WhatsApp, and that's why Andrew Gwynn is now no longer the MP for this area and other people involved, in it have been dealt with that. And what I know, because actually people contact me as well, I'm the next door MP, and people have got in touch with me over recent months. They want an MP who's going to represent them. They want an MP who's going to go down to Parliament week in, week out, champion their issues here. They don't want an MP who's just using this as some kind of bigger game for their political party, whether that's Reform or the Greens. Their only interest is about what happens to Labour. My interest is about what happens to residents here in Gorton and Denton and what happens in this community. And we are delivering here as Labour the change that people voted for at the election. We're lifting children out of poverty. Nearly 3,000 children are being lifted out of poverty because of the 2-child benefit cap that we're lifting. We've delivered more GP appointments. You can see people coming and attending them round here as well. New breakfast clubs, the state pensions going up, mortgage rates are coming down. That is what people voted for only 18 months ago, and we want to carry on that job for people of Denton and Gorton and Longsight, Leverhulme and Burnage, because it's a very big constituency. Great.
Thank you so much.
Kicking off the campaign, or we've already been kicking it off today here at the Gorton Hub. We are in this fight to win it, aren't we, guys? Yeah. We're going to win this by-election because we don't want Reform coming to our city with their divisive, poisonous politics. They can leave that somewhere else. Thank you very much indeed. And we're giving a very clear message today that by voting for any other party other than Labour, if you vote Greens or anybody else, you risk letting Reform in through the back door, because only Labour can beat Reform. There's not a single Green councillor anywhere across this constituency, and that's what we're going to be fighting for every day. So thank you so much for coming. Give yourselves a cheer. We're up for it, aren't we? Yeah. We're going to win it. Thank you very much. Right, we'll take some photos.